The problem is when you try and assert any sort of authority with them, they kick you. Hi.
What's up?
Not much.
Shag?
Yeah. Oh, I was on with
Shagsworth?
the whole person. Who's that? With the Hulk. I was on another live and he was there, or they were there. But I saw you were pro-choice, and I want to talk about that.
Sure.
Look,
Actually, I'm gonna take a moment because I know where Hull's at, so I'm gonna just check in. Hey, Hull, are you good if we have a conversation with him, or do you want me to pass it off for another moment?
yeah, that's fine. I don't really do abortion debates, so I just will happily stay out of it.
Cool. All right, go ahead, Shagsworth.
Hey, I appreciate that, Hull. That's very nice of you. I know we didn't disagree on the last thing, but the pro-choice thing, yeah, I think if you're pro-choice, you're anti-life, essentially. I think that you are, or like, I guess anti-human is what it comes down to.
Okay.
So I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I think we're not placing enough value on human life, and we need to do that, and we need to take accountability where we can for our actions before pregnancies, and that's kind of where I'm at. I know it's not a popular view, but
why should your view on my view impact who I am? So you view me as anti-life or anti-human. Why should that change what my stance is just because you view me that way?
Well, no, I don't. I'm not calling you out specifically. I'm just like overall. I think that we're not. I think we just we need to place more value on the unborn human life and also on our own lives to begin with. And this goes for men and women, not just women, because men are involved as well. So.
I just have a quick question. This
Sure.
is a question I really like to ask people who come up and like argue this topic. Do you have any kids?
Sure do. I have two beautiful boys,
Okay.
6 and 4.
All right.
Yep.
All right, cool. That's it. I just like to know.
Yep.
All right, Tabby, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, on what basis are you making this on, or are you just saying things?
As a parent, as someone who's been alive for 38 years and has gone.
That's not why I'm asking. I'm asking
okay.
You're saying. You said being pro-choice is being anti-life. Where does that come from?
Because if you're willing to give up a human life, I don't out of inconvenience, out of convenience. How do I say that? Because it's inconvenient. I think that's anti-human.
What is considered inconvenient?
I think unless there is a actual medical necessity to end the pregnancy, that we should be carrying children to term. And if you don't want the child, then there are options with I can't even think. I'm sorry. With adoption that can be pursued. The debate
that's way later on. We're talking about the process.
Right.
When we're talking about being pro-choice, we're talking about pregnancy. We're talking about
Yep.
someone deciding to stay pregnant,
Mhm.
not someone later on deciding whether or not they want to be a parent. That's a decision for after birth. That's not a decision for during pregnancy. So the adoption has essentially nothing to do with whether or not someone's decision to stay pregnant, because that's still 9 months of something else entirely about a child being involved in that case.
But it is a solution for the child. And again, I think if
it's not a solution for pregnancy. If someone doesn't want to be pregnant,
oh right. Yeah. So you. I mean, again, the majority, like the actions of that I word and SA does not make up the majority of abortions. So
I never said it did.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I didn't say you said that. I'll let you know if I need to tell you said something.
I know, but I'm saying we haven't made any claims yet. I'm just asking you your stance and why you're saying that pro-choice means that someone doesn't care about life, and I don't think you substantiated that.
Because an unborn child is as much of a human as you and I.
No one said it wasn't a human.
Well, that's why. Because if you're advocating,
you're muted.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I had a petri dish that had a fertilized embryo
Mhm.
and an infant in the other room,
Yep.
and I said you had to pick one,
Well,
and the other one's walking out,
well,
how easy is that choice for you?
well, it's that's well, assuming that the child. It's like an impossible question to answer.
It's not. It's actually really easy because I would very simply say the infant, because the infant has actual like personhood, has like you can actually see them there. There they are. Hi, that's a person.
Right.
Whereas an embryo is just that. It's an embryo.
Yeah, but
And you find that to be an impossible thing.
no, it's not impossible. I mean, you're still talking about eliminating a life. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
and I will. I do want to.
I'm asking you. I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
Which one would you choose if you were in that impossible scenario?
I mean, probably the child who was born.
Why? But I thought you said that they were of equal value.
Yes, human life, and this becomes, I guess, the muddied water is that, and I realize that I don't know. It becomes a very difficult question to answer because the child is there, right? Yes, I can hold them, but it doesn't mean I should value that life any less. And again, this extends back to mother and father.
Valuing the life less.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know a circumstance where I would ever be in the situation where if I chose the petri dish child, that the other one would die. Like that seems to be a bad faith argument.
It's not a bad faith argument. It's just testing your logic. It's creating an analogy.
No. But that's not how. Yeah, but yes.
No, a hypothetical is not a hypothetical is not a bad faith argument.
So it
is because it would.
Can I point this out?
Sure.
Let's change the scenario.
Okay.
What if in one room you had one baby, in the other room you had two babies, and whatever room you go to is the lives you'll be able to save? Which room are you going to go to?
I'm going to go to both rooms. Even if I would probably I would sacrifice myself in order to save all of them.
No. If you try to save both, then everyone died. Everyone else unalive. Pick one.
You got time for one.
So how does But can I just ask you?
The room of one baby.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Answer my question first.
How does choosing one life over another make them not human?
Answer my question first.
Nobody said it made them not human.
Okay,
we're talking about value. We're talking about value. So answer the question.
But it doesn't make them less valuable because I didn't choose them.
Answer
I will tell you why I asked the question after you answer the question. You're not going to get the answer until you answer the question.
Man, why are you so angry?
Not angry. I'm just pointing out that you're literally trying. First, don't do that. I'm not angry. I'm just pointing out that you're.
I would choose the two. I would choose the two. I would save the two children because there's two.
Okay, so you would save the two children over the one child. Okay, so let's change the scenario.
Okay.
If you have a petri dish.
Yep.
In one room that has multiple embryos in that has multiple fertilized eggs in that room.
Yeah.
There's multiple fertilized eggs that could be over like 100 of them.
Okay.
And in one room you have a single baby.
Yeah.
About like let's say like a 8-month-old baby. Which are you going to save? And you can only save one.
No, I mean I guess if knowing that the petri dish fertilized eggs are to be like carried to term, then I would save the 100 fertilized eggs.
So you would actually save the 100 fertilized eggs over the actual living baby that's right there.
Yes, knowing that there would be 100 fertilized.
You don't
babies.
know that they will come to term.
Okay, so that man, you are like the okay.
Who knows if fertilized? First of all,
right.
If you're gonna. There's no guarantee.
Well, it's a weird. It's no one.
Term.
Yeah, but
that's not realistic.
It's not realistic to have 100 fertilized eggs in a petri dish. What are you talking about? Like
it's no. They do keep them. They do keep them cold.
It's a weird question because
it'll be like a different. It's a different container that they hold them in.
It's a weird.
But it's still 100 fertilized eggs. Like so, you would still choose the 100 fertilized eggs with just a potential over the actual living,
The
breathing
the
baby.
reason I think the question is a bit bunk is because like
I'm not
pregnancies are not in
hearing
petri
that you
dishes.
think the
Pregnancy,
question is bunk
it is bunk
or
because
not.
it's a very, very
I-
difficult comparison. I don't know how many petri dish
It's not a
babies
difficult
survive on
comparison.
average.
I'm saying so you're saying so Andy, I don't know where you were listening when you walked away. He's saying I switched up the scenario and said instead of a room with 2 babies and a room with 1 baby, I said a room with 100 fertilized eggs and a room with a single baby. Which would he choose? He said the 100 fertilized eggs if he knew they were all going to like be.
Oh, but that's impossible. There's no
You
medical
don't know
science that
that.
can
That's
guarantee
still
that.
Yes, I know
yeah,
that, but I also don't know what the difference between like let's say the success rate of IVF versus normal pregnancies. So like
I'm
again,
sorry.
Yeah,
We're
give
not
me a
asking
second.
about the wait. We're not asking about the success rate of IVF. You're saying that fertilized eggs are equivalent or are equal to already living, breathing people. The baby is. I said the baby was 8 months old. As in, this baby is living, breathing, most likely already starting to work on solid foods and stuff. Working on eating food and stuff like that. Like growing baby teeth. Like this is an actual living,
Okay.
breathing baby that's already here versus
yeah, I gotcha.
fertilized eggs.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Under the age of 35, the success rate's 29%. Just to let you know.
Yeah, see, no, I don't know. Knowing that, I would probably choose the baby who's
Okay.
in the room.
But so then you do realize that you don't hold these of equal value then.
I guess so. In interest of moving the conversation forward, sure.
Especially because, like, if we think about it mathematically, if there's 100 in there, based on the percentage that I gave you, that meant that 29 would come to term.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I
even
know.
think about it. Earlier, and when I asked the question about one room with 2 babies and another room with 1 baby, you chose the room with 2 babies because
Right.
you even though you value the lives of babies equally, both of the sides of the babies equally,
Mhm.
one had more babies and the other one had less babies. So you were like, I'm going to save more lives
Right.
over less lives. But in the situation where you had 100 fertilized eggs versus a single baby, it wasn't a question of I'm going to save more lives potentially, more potential lives. It was a question of I'm going to save what's actually here versus potential. Because now you start thinking in your head, well, how many of those are actually going to come to fruition? That wasn't a question in your head when it was 2 babies versus 1 baby.
I know. Yeah.
And so if you truly did value them on the same playing field that you value someone who has already been birthed, that wouldn't have, your thought process wouldn't have changed. You wouldn't start questioning whether or not those fertilized eggs would come to fruition or not. You would have automatically just been like, I'm going to save them. It wouldn't have been a problem in your head. It wouldn't have been something that you had to figure out in your head. Because so clearly you do not value them the same.
The issue is that it's to save a life is not an easy question to really work through on a TikTok live and under a lot of pressure from you guys. Like it's something that would, because honestly, because in the real, I'm sorry, am I able to finish or did you want to finish?
I'm saying this is essentially the trolley problem.
The what?
Yeah, I would want Shagsworth to finish though.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is essentially a trolley problem. People solve this. People talk about this all the time. It's not new. It's just being repurposed.
Right. So the thing is like there will likely always be a scenario, or there's a high probability that I have a scenario to save multiple children because I could essentially sacrifice my life. There might be an option to, okay, I'll give up my life for the life of another child because they're the future. I've lived out most of my life. Humans make noble causes all the time. They do irrational things all the time. I recognize that on both sides of it. So, I mean, and it becomes, the question is not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily logic based as more as it is an emotional, getting an emotional response. But it's, none of this is an easy discussion. I mean, that's fair to say. But again, it really just comes down to me is finding a way that we can acknowledge that life before birth is still life, just as it is for you and me. Just as like I want an unborn child treated in the same way that someone would treat you. Like if a child is born dies in the womb, and it's due to some external force, I want that person to suffer the consequences just as if they had done harm to one of you or myself.
Can I ask you a question, Shagsworth? Can
Sure.
I test that?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry.
So
Yes.
if there's a woman that's pregnant and maybe she has like a blood issue, and so giving birth will cost her her life, but giving birth would give a healthy child at the cost of that life. Like I said, should she be allowed to get an abortion?
Well, again, so I think I did say this in the beginning. So if a medical procedure needs to be done to save the mother's life, then I think steps should be taken to try and save the life of the child, but also preserve the life of the mother. And actually, I think most states who have any abortion laws already protect that. So
you're not answering the question.
No, it is. How's it not?
I'm asking about your value system, not what the states apply.
No,
your value system. You're not answering the question. You're just saying they should take steps. Cool. They took the steps. It's one or the other.
Right. So I think
should they be allowed the abortion, or should they be allowed to this little fetus in order to preserve the life of the mother?
They should do exactly what I said. They should take steps to preserve the life of the child and the mother. And if they cannot save the mother, I think we should save the mother, because there's still potential that she could give birth in the future. It's a hard question to answer for sure. It's not an easy question.
What if the fetus is a child? What if the fetus is like a girl? Sorry. What if the fetus is going to be a young girl that could give birth in the future? If you're going to value potentiality to get pregnant in the future.
Well, no, but the mother is of.
That's the reason why you give the mother value, because like why you should be able to do that, because she could potentially in the future give birth.
Well, she is of childbearing years, so she like. Again, like I said, you should try and preserve the life of the child and the mother. And if it's not possible to do both, then I would say, the very, very difficult, and heart-wrenching decision would be to save the mother.
Yeah, and that's intuitive. That's too intuitive to you, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. So your intuitive value system is to put value of the mother above the value of the fetus, then.
That's the only reason, though.
But yeah, that's a really frightening reason, but I'm trying to at least.
Can you explain to me why it's frightening? Just so I know.
Yeah, because the only way that you're valuing why this mother should live
it's not
is
the only
because
reason.
Kirsten will, or no, not me.
It's
Almost
the only reason that
because Kirsten actually is done with you. Thank you.
Because
Kirsten actually is done with you. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh.
But I think they got sent money to kick.
Yeah, somebody paid to kick.
He tried to tone police me earlier.
So this is tone policing. Did you hear that? I tone policed. Like how? Like it to me, it's a total argument in bad faith. Like what I want to do is go back live and listen to what was said, because the problem is when you try and assert any sort of authority with them, they kick you. There is no talking to them. Like I started out trying to illustrate my point of, hey, I think we should value human life. I think that if you're pro-choice, I said anti-life. What I meant to say was anti-human. And I did correct myself, but they decided to ignore the correction and focus on something that I had said, to start.